It happened, guys. It was on my bucket list, and now it's on our to-do list. I was trying to think of a rhyme. I didn't, obviously. The Witcher 4 announced, revealed. It was technically already announced, but it's been revealed. There's a lot of interesting little tidbits in this. Some obvious, some more nuanced, but the trailer's here. The trailer is about 6 minutes long, cinematic reveal trailer. I am here for it. Let's just, without dilly-dallying, kick it off, and I'll kind of pause as we go through. If you want to watch it uninterrupted, like obviously you probably already have by the time you're saying this, but I'll be stopping it and going through it as we go. The first and most obvious thing is cinematic trailer pre-rendered in Unreal Engine 5 on an unannounced NVIDIA GeForce RTX GPU. Pretty obviously that's like a 5090 or something. But what's not clear to me is they say pre-rendered in Unreal Engine 5. So my question is, like, is this pre-rendered meaning this is what it will look like on a 5090 in real time? Or do you just mean that this is an in-engine cutscene that you rendered out with an RTX 5090 and it took 10 minutes per frame to render? It's not really clear. I've seen some people look at this and they interpret it as this is what it will look like on a 5090 running in real time once that card comes out. But to me, this could easily just mean that it was an in-engine trailer that was designed in Unreal Engine, but then it was encoded with the RTX whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it won't actually look like this in real time, but it's just pre-rendered. I am more inclined to lean into the idea that this is not what it's going to look like in real time, because if it is, oh God. I'm not ready for that. But we'll see. I do think that this is an interesting little tidbit though. Like I told you guys for months, CDPR with Cyberpunk, they were the buddies with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA was like, look at all of our overdrive path tracing, ray reconstruction, all of our crazy new graphical bells and whistles. CDPR and NVIDIA have always had that simpatico relationship. And then they moved over to Unreal. And I've said 1,000 times, this game, The Witcher 4, is going to be used as the showcase game for Unreal Engine and for NVIDIA's stuff. So you better believe that we're going to see a lot of this game, and it's going to look insane because NVIDIA is going to use it to sell their graphics cards, and Unreal is going to use this to sell their engine to other studios. So this one game is going to be a graphical powerhouse, I think, on a level we haven't seen with open world games before, certainly. And I think it's going to be totally insane. As will the price for whatever this is. There's been rumors that it will be, anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500 for the 5090. If the game could actually run like this, I think you'll see scalpers and MSRP start to shoot up over like the $3,000 mark for the 5090 if it actually runs anywhere near this level. It's going to be ridiculous. So buckle up, buckaroo. You thought you were already going broke next year with all the games coming out? Well, just wait, because there's also going to be hardware and a new Switch and all that stuff. So, oh God. Okay, we're 3 seconds in and I'm already rambling. Let's go. Flowers confirmed.
Dearest daughter, I've watched ye grow from a devilishly curious child into a remarkably young lass with much grace, wisdom, and kindness. Take the easy times what shape us, nay.
Oh God, the sword looks so good.
'Tis how we rise to face the hard times, what does that for us. Even heart of gold. You've the spirit to overcome adversities aplenty. Darling, sweeten. Today's the day ye fill out your destiny.
Ah! The second I saw that, I was just, oh my God! Oh God! It's happening! Oh God! What's the word? Climax. That's what happened. The other very real argument that this is what the game could look like in cinematics is with some of the artifacting. Because as with all things, you can tell a lot about any given trailer or gameplay footage or anything, not based on what looks good, but based on the imperfections, based on the things that aren't quite right. That's where you can tell a lot, whether it's with frame drops or whether it's with draw distances or texture quality or culling of objects or screen space reflections, that type of thing. With this though, I want you to watch the fringes on the corner of, oh, my camera's covering it, the corner of the shoulder, and then also this fabric. So you see this type of artifacting is not something you typically see in fully pre-rendered cinematics. It's possible that this is an encoding issue. It's possible, but like specifically with the cloth, because there's an effect with video, what's it called? Moire, I think. The Moire effect, I think is how it's pronounced. It's that thing when you have a really fine line, you know, what happens when people are wearing like striped t-shirts and stuff, and then you get the weird distortion in the image, you know what I'm talking about? That type of thing can happen with like cloths in games that are finely striated. So there might be a pattern on this, and that's causing that distortion to hit. So that could potentially be like an encoding artifact. But what isn't an encoding artifact, but is actually just the game, is the little flickering of whatever this would be, the pauldrons, maybe the shoulder bits right here, where you can see some distortions in these areas where it has to do with how it renders the depth of field and it blurs things out. A handful of Unreal Engine games have had this problem before. So it's like, oh, this might actually be like not just the totally crazy high fidelity pre-rendered cinematic, which I think a lot of us were braced for. This might actually be in-game, quote unquote, which would be insane. Because if you don't remember the Witcher 3 cinematics, these were made by like a separate team, and these were not designed like in the actual game engine. These were not running in the Red engine. This was where they shared the assets basically with another company, and then the other company worked on it and developed this trailer that looked outrageously beautiful. But this was never actually in the game, right? You know what I mean? Whereas what we're seeing with The Witcher 4 seems to actually be in the game, which is super, super cool to see. All these Witcher trailers, man, they've always gone so freaking hard. They are not easy to watch sometimes, though. They're tough. But let's continue. But I wanted to point that out because it's little imperfections like that should make you go, oh. It's very promising.
Forgive me, daughter. 'Twere my only choice.
I shall be the bringer of salvation.
A witcher? Witcher! Whose coin did ye take? Nay, you can't. 'Tis tradition. Chosen she is, by the gods.
No! You chose her.
The Cat Eyes, or as my favorite NPC in The Witcher 3 called them, the Puss Peepers. They're here. Now, obviously, the selection of Siri as the protagonist is, it's not even bold, but it's a very clear indicator of where I think that this game is going. Okay. They had some options, you know, there were rumors that they might go choose your own Witcher, where you like make a character creator and you actually design your character. There were of course rumors that they were going to have Siri as the playable character because she was kind of set up to be that at the end of The Witcher 3, with what I believe they established was the canon ending. And then the other option was that they go with a totally like original character, maybe either taken inspired by the books or just totally written from scratch, kind of like what they did with Cyberpunk, where they give you kind of an origin story and you can pick male or female, kind of design it, but it follows the same like rough storyline and archetypes that they could plan for. Each of them have benefits and perks, to be very clear. So for some of these options, some people would have connected with them much more. Others, other players would. Choosing Siri has the perks of being able to write quests, write a main story, write cool new abilities, things like that around Siri as a character. And if you've read the books, if you're familiar with the lore, if if you're even passingly familiar with The Witcher, what Siri is capable of and how the books revolve around her. Basically, they have a lot of material to work with her. Downside is players get less agency. So it will play much more like The Witcher 3, where you are playing a character that they have written. There's of course customization of your character as far as equipment. There are of course different choices to be made within the archetype of Siri, but you're still playing Siri either which way. It's not like a Fallout New Vegas level RPG or a Baldur's Gate level RPG. That's not what this is. So that's what I take from this, is that this is going to be much more like The Witcher 3 than it will be a totally open-ended RPG like you got with some other recent games. If they did choose your own character, it could be much more open-ended, much more free, but then there would be the limitation of the questing being much more limited, of the main story being much less personalized to the character because they don't know what kind of character you're playing as. So there's less flexibility there, or there's too much flexibility there. There's less rigidity and things that they can plan around. So I think either one would have been a solid choice, and I'm not upset either which way. In terms of what I was like hoping for, I guess, I don't know if I was hoping directly for one over the other. The playable, like customizable character would have been really cool to actually make your own Witcher from scratch if they really leaned into player agency and freedom, but also being able to write stuff very carefully and more methodically for a given character also gives us a ton of perks with increased like cinematic value and deeper stories that way. So either way, I think it's a solid option. I'm not bothered either which way. I know some people are really disappointed to see that the Witcher has been selected for us, basically. I think it would have been a win either which way. Bye! She's gonna die. This reminds me of the quest in The Witcher 3 with the tree.
Back to the village. Go, now.
Nay! I must save them! Save the village!
Save yourself!
Did I just see?
Now.
Hold on.
Nay! I must save them! Save the village!
Save yourself!
No, I'm seeing things. I thought I saw one of the ribbons like glitch out just for a frame or two, but I think I was seeing things. Interesting tidbit. The voice actress for Siri does not seem to be the same one. It seems that they have gone with a new voice actress. Not as bright a voice, much darker and grittier, which probably reflects the fact that, like, Siri is the Witcher now, so it makes sense as far as mutations are concerned. And older. Yeah, you're right.
Run! To shelter! To your father! Run!
People who are calling her, like, ugly, like, what is wrong with you? Come on, man. Tell me you've never touched a woman other than your mother without telling me. Like, come on, man. I showed this before we did this segment. I really honestly believe that a lot of these people that are doing this, yeah, that's a handsome woman right there. You're damn right. A lot of people that are doing this, I think, are trolling. I don't think the people that are saying that Siri is ugly are like actually being for real. Most of them are trolling. Like, I don't believe that anybody is typing this out and be like, I showed them. And enraged orbicularis oris, too compressed glabella, nasion bridge too high, body of zygomatic bone is too high with arrows pointed at the no shot this person has ever touched a woman if this is real. But I think they're trolling personally. I think this is trolling. I think it's just bait. So I whenever I see people pointing to like this shot and being like, wow, so ugly, I'm like, you're trolling. Like, come on, good try. But it's really hard to tell. And it's because like there's a term online for this that I talked about a second ago. Poe's law, an adage of internet culture which says that without clear indication of the author's intent, any parodic or sarcastic expression of extreme views can be mistaken by some readers for sincere expression of these views. Basically, the term like you're being a Poe or are you a Poe is, are you being so extreme that I can't tell if you're being serious? Because you reach a point where you sound so insane and crazy that I can't tell if you're serious or not. Because you could be serious and you're just outside of your mind, or you're trolling. But I can't tell the difference anymore because everything is insane. Everything is crazy. I can't tell anymore. But I'm pretty sure that most of the people that are saying this stuff about Siri are trolling. There are people offering good faith, like serious critiques of this trailer because there are some tidbits which seem to rework, to put it generously, some elements of the Witcher lore. Some people that are far more equipped to discuss the intricacies of the lore, as is established. And those critiques are very interesting and compelling. But I'm specifically talking about the people that are complaining about Siri's like design. I think most of those people are trolling, personally. Am I that bothered by the lore discrepancies? Personally, I haven't seen any that I'm like really upset about, but you know, maybe time will tell if another one comes into my purview. If anybody has a list of those discrepancies, maybe let me know or link it or something in the chat and we can look at that after the trailer. But yeah, I think most people that are talking about Siri being ugly are trolling because come on. Drink that potion. Nani? Hard. That's me right now. It's pretty fire. Huh. Come on, man. Come on. It's pretty Gucci. It's pretty Gucci. Even some of these like little details, like the cobwebs that have gotten caught in the shoulder pad. Like, oh man. It's not gonna end happy.
She went to go to the woods. The chosen one. It's tradition.
Oh no, no, no.
It's all we wanted. For her to go to the woods. To go to the gods.
Gods? There are no gods here. There are only monsters.
Yes. Tight. Yeah, Tuco would love that. Man. Wowza. Okay, the comments are funny. Find out if Geralt is in Skellige. Find out if Geralt is in Velid. Find out if Geralt is in Novigrad. That's funny. Can't wait to see my boy Geralt enjoying his life in his vineyard. Dude, if we can actually go to Toussaint and visit Geralt and Yen chilling in Corvo Bianco and just vibing, dude, that'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. I think they actually finished with it. Oh no, during the Game Awards there was a little voiceover, but yeah, I think it looks fantastic. I think it looks very, very, very good. No real surprise. I was trying to find the other tab of the Witcher story, and then I just came across this one. It's just so funny to me. So they talked about this. They went to IGN and they talked about the choice to go with Siri over continuing with Geralt as protagonist. And to be clear, they said like whatever that would be, 8 years ago, that Geralt's story was over, that they tied it up. They're good. Okay, who said Todd's low-hanging fruit? That's funny. That's good. That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, we're not punching down here. No, not great. No, okay. Moving on. So they talked about this and they said, speaking exclusively to IGN ahead of the reveal, executive producer Malgorzata Mitrega said Siri was, quote, the very organic, logical choice. It was always about her, starting from Saga when you read it in the books. She's an amazing layered character, and of course, as a protagonist, we say goodbye to Geralt, or we said goodbye to Geralt previously. So this is a continuation. I guess for all of us, it's like she was meant to be. That was always her. And I think this is the key. This has been seen as a continuation of The Witcher 3 instead of like a brand new, entirely separate trilogy, which I think was where there was debate and confusion, because I think for some fans, they heard Geralt's trilogy is over, a new trilogy is about to begin. Okay, this is going to be totally separate. They're going to do something totally different. It's not going to be tied to that. We're going to be doing our own thing. And that doesn't seem to be the case. Like they are continuing on probably like a decade or two later after the events of The Witcher 3, where Geralt's still around. They've already said that he's going to be in the game, but he's not like the protagonist or anything. And so I think that that's just where the confusion lay. I think for some people, they thought this was going to be totally separate, hundreds of years before or after, when in reality, it's just kind of a continuation of that story. I'm excited to see where it goes, obviously, but I think that that's just where some fans were confused, I think. They really have struck, I think, the accurate tone. And that's the thing to remember is with a lot of these announcement trailers, it's much less about telling you exactly what the game's going to be. It's about establishing that tone and giving you a feeling for the game. Whether you look at the initial trailers for The Witcher 3 or you look at the initial trailers for like The Last of Us Part 2 with Ellie playing the guitar on the bed in this sort of dreamlike sequence. Those trailers are about establishing the vibe, the feeling, the tone. And as they've said before, like it's also about showing the team, this is what we're doing. This is our goal. This is our vision. So you've got to nail that. Otherwise you're off on the wrong foot. You know, you're going to be stumbling from the very, very start. And I feel like that is something that a handful of games have nailed with that initial announcement trailer that just hits the right vibe. Like Doom, Dark Ages, that game's trailer. I don't know about you guys, but like this trailer from the outset, I'm like, yep, I'm here, paying attention. I'm here for it. Not only is it edited really well, but it's also just really, really solid. Like it just looks fun. It gives you an idea of what the game will feel like, what the game will play like. And obviously this has a lot more gameplay than what we saw with the Witcher cinematic trailer, but it establishes that tone and that vibe. So when you're looking at those announcement trailers, you're hoping to see a really solid first showing that tells you what the game's going to feel like. And I think that that's what they nailed here, because this tone feels right for The Witcher. Just like when we go back and we watch these old trailers from The Witcher 3 posted 11 years ago in 2013. It's very dark and serious tone. It's not like a silly, goofy fantasy. Like this is far from Dragon Age of Elgard. Very far from it. You know? So the fact that they struck that tone got me excited, because I was worried they were going to reinvent it for modern audiences, whatever that means, and it would just be toned down and sucky, and then they reveal it and it's got a Fortnite coat of paint on it, but they've not done that, and that makes me happy. So all told, I'm excited for it. I think it looks solid. It is pretty much exactly what I was hoping we would see at this point, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it moving forward. I think they're going to be showing it at NVIDIA showcases. We'll see it at the Unreal showcase that they do every year, the big one. It's going to be a visual powerhouse that they're going to rely on a lot. So buckle up. So it'll run like crap on AMD, probably, but also maybe not, because it's also going to have console ports. So. And all consoles are running on AMD stuff. So it's not necessarily given that it runs like crap. He took my thing.